All right, what's up, Trojan fans? Welcome into the LA Sports Brotherhood. It's me, Ryan, here with my brother Matthew. I'm here to recap and give our thoughts about the USC Trojan football spring game. Officially, the defense defeated the offense 43 to 28. Um, Unofficially, it's kind of a wash. I don't really personally. I mean, you'll see how we feel about it as the video goes on. But truthfully, speaking for myself, couldn't really get much from it. Wasn't particularly inspired. But Matt, how you feeling? How you feeling today? How you feeling about the game in general? What's going on?
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's one of those things where it's like, how much can you really tell? Is it the offense being bad or defense being good, vice versa? It's just tough. It's also tough when, the play calling the way it was, it just
Just nothing.
I don't know. It's just yeah, it was pretty much nothing the whole game. It's like what really are going to get out of the offense? But one thing I did get, I think, I think there's a lot of overall. I think there's so much young talent on both sides of the ball. That was my biggest takeaway overall. Is like I'm seeing these receivers, I'm seeing running backs, I'm seeing. We'll get into it for sure. The freaking the edge guys, Fountain and Shelby Green. I saw a lot. Most of what I liked was out of the young guys,
Yeah.
which is a good thing and really what I'm expecting. Like USC, I think the future is bright. The talent right now is not looking so great. To be frank, if we don't get, two to three to even four big names out of the portal, I'm expecting a seven at most 8-win season. And and I'm always positive with USC. It's hard not to be, but I'm just being real. I think there's a lot to improve upon, and so yeah, so we're each gonna give an area where we thought the USC looked good, an area of concern. So I'll start with my what I was happy about, what I thought looked good, which was the skill positions overall. I think Woody Marks I think is gonna be a star. He looked really good. His cuts are great. He's explosive. He's balanced. Pretty much everything that I thought he would be in our running back preview. He looked great. Um, B Jack, I think B Jack, the huge freshman, I think he's gonna be great in a few years. I think the running backs look good. I think the running backs are gonna be good. And as for the receivers, like I said, it's tough, to talk about with, uh, the play calls we had, but Jacoby Lane looks like a freaking monster out there. Just taking a look at him and the muscle he's put on, he looks great.
Yeah.
Him and Makai had a couple of great catches. Deuce looks so quick for that size. Branch is always gonna be quick. I just want to see Branch run routes. I want him to be a receiver, not some weapon, not and just overall, I think that the weapons look good. I think the weapons will be good, but it matters about who's getting the ball. So I think a big story in this was the quarterbacks. I was not very impressed with them. I know for a fact that you weren't, but yeah. What do you think about the quarterbacks, Massa and Maeva?
Yeah. So one, I want to extend your caveat to this as well. They weren't running any real plays. They ran the same like tunnel screen 15 times for every quarterback. But there was one throw in particular that kind of reaffirmed all my Miller Moss skepticism in terms of how high his ceiling is. Jacoby Lane was running just a streak, and it looked like defense was in cover two or something because the cornerback was sitting, or like it was. I don't know what they were doing. Honestly, it was against what is it? DeCarlos Nicholson was the cornerback. Lane was going. He had him beat by 7-8 yards. But Miller underthrew the ball so much that Nicholson was like, it's like he should have picked it. Like it was kind of shocked. Maybe he was shocked that the ball came to him. It was like a 5 yard underthrow at least. And I mean, I guess that happens, especially this early or whatever. But that just made me think of the Holiday Bowl and how like three of those touchdowns were just straight up underthrows that receivers made plays on. And if the receivers don't make plays on those and maybe one of them's intercepted or they're just knocked down and the stats don't look like 6 touchdowns or whatever BS he had, then it feels a little more like, hey, maybe we need a quarterback. Maybe Miller Moss isn't the Heisman candidate we're thinking. But yeah, again, I'm not gonna blame him for any of this. They weren't running. It wasn't a real playbook, so that's fine. Um, Maeva was for me seeing him play for the first time, hearing the scouting report on him and how he's kind of explosive, and he also threw like 10 picks last year to only 17 touchdowns. Saw both of that. The first pick he threw, which again was DeCarlos Nicholson, he had some good name recognition for some plays that really fell into his hands, which I appreciate because
Mm.
that means he was in the right position, ready to make a play, so it's good. But the Mayava pick was, oh my god, that was it. I don't even know like what he was thinking. The throw decision not great, and the execution I think he missed by like 10 yards. Anyway, but then at the same time, you see Mayava like making throws on the run to Zach Branch. Zach Branch's farthest throw or longest catch was like he ran a 10 or 15 yard out. Or he was coming across the field. I don't remember what it was. And Maeva was on the run, perfect, just a laser. Like his arm strength is very much apparent, and he had a couple of those throws, and you can see how they called a couple zone reads as well. So, to me, all this meant for me was that if Miller Moss leaves next year, and you believe in Lincoln Riley as a quarterback developer, I would actually be very excited for Maeva to be a player next season. But this year, yeah, we got Miller. Let's get it together. That's basically that's basically where I'm at with the quarterbacks.
Yeah, they're kind of like polar opposites to me. Whereas like Miller Moss, I don't think he has a high ceiling. I think he's smart. I think he can get the job done. Not he will. He can't. He has the potential to get the job done.
Yeah,
Not a Heisman candidate. Any of those things like our fellow USC fans are saying. I'm not shutting it off. It's possible, but he's not a favorite by any means.
yeah,
Whereas Mayava is like very high ceiling, like you said, incredible arm strength, mobile, can move a little bit. But I mean, I thought that pick was miscommunication between receiver and
yeah. It
quarterback.
just
And I rewatched it and I was like, oh my god, that was just a bad throw. And I was
yeah,
like, what? How, I let's hope that's a one time thing. But like again, he's gonna have a full year,
yeah.
and next year he's gonna have what I think is gonna be the best receiving core in the country. Which I mean, Maya was a part of that. I said my biggest take was the young guys. I mean,
He's
you
a
got
young guy. It's fair.
two great sophomore backs, a sophomore quarterback, four sophomore receivers that could probably be wide receiver ones, like
Yeah,
if they live up to the potential that they've shown. It's just it's a really bright future for the offense. Uh, in terms of the skill positions.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, wasn't thrilled with the quarterbacks, but Maava, it's tough to tell for Miller Moss. When like we said, the play calls weren't anything, like they were nothing. And Maava, we saw the bad, we saw the good. So yeah, I think that's our feelings about the offense. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna get into the O line a little bit. Trust me, we'll get into it. But I want to change over to the defense. We defense won, and I so there's a lot of celebrating on Twitter, but we got to ask ourselves how much of that was Moss and Maeva making bad throws. Like you said, Nicholson was just in the right spot. I think I would have caught those balls, but we'll take it. Maybe Domani or someone would have dropped it. Who knows? But yeah, the defense. I think we're gonna shut down like the how hype everyone is about it. But what I will say, it did look different. It looked in terms of how they were coached, where they were being in position, it 100% looked different. Would you agree? Like it looked a lot more established. It looked better, and not the talent and the size or anything, just the way they played and being in position. Would you agree?
I 100% agree in terms of the defensive backs. That was a
Yeah, yeah,
massive
100%.
difference. Yeah, like we're talking about positives. That's my biggest positive is that I know we were kind of joking around with Nicholson talking about how the picks fell in his lap,
Hmm.
but no picks fell in our laps last year, no matter what, just because they just weren't in the right
Uh,
position. So they looked sound, they looked good. Prophet Brown again, I think has really continued his trajectory. I think they really like him. Jacoby Covington had on that pick six that Brown actually took. He had Covington was the one with the deflection. Like they look really solid. I'm actually incredibly happy with the defensive backs. As for defensive line, just looked outmatched, which isn't good because the offensive line for the USC right now can't really outmatch anybody. But they didn't look incompetent, like they didn't look aimless. And I'm making that distinction because to me, the linebackers once again did not look good. Like we were talking about in our linebacker preview, that I feel like I would be able to take a lot away from watching the way they play, the linebackers specifically, I should say. And I was not left very hopeful. EMA, first of all, I hate the number 4 on a linebacker. Can't do it. Makes him look small. He's already like a short, stout guy. He just looks small out there. He, I don't know. It's just I can't like USC cannot bring in a linebacker with previous success and have them continue like successfully shoot gaps and successfully make plays. There was someone I was here watching or listening to them talk about the spring game, like give their opinions because I like doing that. And they said USC linebackers didn't really hear much about them. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And to me, I kind of chuckled a little bit because linebackers need to make plays. You need to hear about them. There's no fading into the background of the linebacker. Maybe if you're like a free safety and they don't ever throw deep and you come down you make a tackle or two, like that's okay, we don't hear your play. Or you're a cornerback and they don't throw the ball at your way so you don't hear their name. That's fine. Linebacker, you gotta make tackles, man. Every like we talk about the D line and the push and the we need a nose, which we absolutely do, but like push up the middle and there's a bunch of room and the line that there's nobody within 10 yards. That's not just the defensive line. That's Mason Cobb turning around 3 times, running backwards, and then trying like because they're playing the thud. They weren't tackling, which is another like I don't know. At a certain point, just play football or don't play football. I don't whatever. But it just didn't make me think anything is going to be different from a linebacker perspective. I'm not down because there was a very tangible, genuine change in philosophy for the DBs, so I know it's real. But I don't. Maybe it's just the talent at linebacker. I don't know what it is. Like there was a I forgot his name even. There was a number 50 something like some walk on kid from I genuinely don't remember his name. He was the only linebacker the entire game that made a play in the backfield. He shot a gap and made a tackle, and I was like, "Oh my god, who is this person?" I'm used to Mason Cobb being 14 yards downfield, and now EMA is like getting caught on blocks, and it's honestly not even super his fault because if they're running away from you or they're running towards you and you're like playing outside linebacker, you do have to fill and force them to where your other linebacker is supposed to be. Like you have to fill gaps. You have run fits. It's like responsibilities. It's not just chasing the ball. So even if he does his job, it looks like he's just getting washed out. Even though he's like at a standstill, which you don't want. Like you want your linebackers to be able to beat blocks. But at worst case, if you fill your gap and you hit the blocker, your other linebacker is supposed to be reading the play at the same time and in there to at least stop them, to make them bounce, do anything else. And Mason Cobb, whew, I can't. I don't know what to do with him. I can't. I don't know if I could watch another season of him playing linebacker, starting and playing so much. Gentry, I didn't really see anything from. Not great, but I believe in him as a player at least. Rayshawn Davis looked like Rayshawn Davis. We need talent. We need talent at linebacker.
Yeah, I agree with the whole all of the defense. Really, I agree with everything you said about the defense. That's where I'm at with them. You know, we touched the three different position groups, and just I mean, I think the reason I asked you that I think like we're a well coached team. Like we really do have a good staff, and I think that showed. But we just do not have a defensive line, and we have bad linebackers. But I'll start off with the DBs because all three I think are well coached. The only one that has talent is the DBs,
Yeah.
and I was thrilled. Prophet Brown is like he's just been on this trajectory where he's continuing to impress and be better, and really happy for that. I love Prophet Brown. Glad to see him doing well. Jacoby Covington, I think, is having a big year. Sellis, you got to talk about him. He's gonna have a big
Yeah.
career for us at USC. He looks different. He has that quickness. He just has it. I think Ramsey physically just looked great. I think it's a good room. We've added Greedy. If you haven't, if you've
Oh
been
yeah, that did
keeping up
happen.
on Trojan, I think he's gonna help out, especially if hopefully. Smith isn't seriously hurt, but yeah, Greedy's gonna help out nickel, play some corner. I feel really good about the DBs. You know, they're very, and we don't even have Humphrey yet.
Yeah.
They're very physical group. They were in the right place, which is like, oh my god, yes. They were making tackles, which is like, oh my god,
Yeah,
yes.
they made plays on
I
the
feel good
ball,
about that.
actually.
Yes,
Yeah.
like it just felt good. But what didn't feel good, I was very upset, or not. I was very disappointed with EMA. I think he was the biggest story. I mean, he got destroyed on certain blocks. He couldn't get off blocks, which if you remember in the preview, the prison previews, that was my main concern with him. Was like, if I think he'll make tackle, but can he get off blocks? Can he tackle in space? And it's like saying those things. I was like, Jesus Christ, we're talking about a linebacker here, and we're questioning this.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll sit back and watch. And I was not very impressed with him. I don't think we have a USC linebacker. I mean, for all the legends we've had, we're freaking USC for God's sake, and we're just continuing to watch linebacker play be awful time and time again. I mean, please, we have a stud, Matai committed. We're in talks with three other top 100 linebackers. You know, Pettijohn, Madden, and McHale, of course. Please land one of them.
Yeah.
Land as many as you can because this needs to change, and it's gonna hurt us all year. And I don't we haven't even been in talks with the linebacker in the portal. It looks like this is our group,
Yeah.
and it's very frustrating. There's gonna be a lot. It's terrible, but lastly, the D line. It's like we don't have a D line. We brought in one guy at nickel, or sorry, nose tackle. I mean, we brought in Clifton as well. Didn't see much from him. Where we really need help is in the interior. We brought in one guy. He immediately left. Um, Jay from UCLA is committed elsewhere.
Oh, did he actually
But
commit?
I can't believe him. He's going.
He,
It's like 99% sure he's going to Texas.
yeah.
I think it's more a money thing. Can't believe I'm blanking out his name. Dominic, TCU guy.
Yeah, Williams.
He where did he come? Or we're not even in his
Yeah, he's
visit.
not
I
even
mean,
getting coming to visit.
yeah, it's I don't know if it's money. I don't know what it is. It's we need we need a D line, man.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the one guy we got left, and then Bear wasn't playing. So it's like, what do you have? I mean, really, what do you have? We had Clifton playing inside, which is where I don't want him. We had Pepe. We had these freshmen. It's like, oh my god, and it's very discouraging.
Yeah.
Like all we can say about the D line is this isn't my god. It's not even a D1 D line. I'm saying I was gonna say it's not a you know a
Power
USC
five.
D line. I don't even know if it's a Power Five D line.
Yeah.
So it's like, but this is not what the staff wants. So it's not like we're questioning their judgment of players. It's this isn't cutting it, but everyone knows they're going after D line. Are they going to land them?
Yeah.
You know, let's hope this isn't the D line. We have to wait and see who will land. Please, we need people bad. But the one positive I thought, like I mentioned it, start of the video was the edges, like
Yeah.
specifically the young guys. Cameron Fountain, it was like the, like I said, I saved the O line because we're gonna kind of transition to that. The line of scrimmage was awful on both sides. The only time a good play was made was when Fountain just completely blew up and got in the backfield and made that tackle
Yeah.
because he's an athletic freak. He did it a couple times. Sam Green did as well. Shelby, I mean, I feel good about the future of our edge room. That's the only positive I have, other than Coach Haney is recruiting so far. Those guys are gonna be good. Newbie, we were talking about the linebackers. Newbie, I think, looked athletic. He's got
Yeah.
to, learn the scheme and all that, but he's looked athletic. Really, I said at the start of the video, the bright spot to me was the young guys all around. I think the edge room is another area where that's true. I think Jamil Muhammad actually looked good, but it's like he is not what a defensive end in the Big Ten looks like.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
don't
like,
know. Honestly, I don't know where he plays, to be
no.
honest.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. I don't want him playing over Shelby. He's not a defensive end. It's just overall, to sum up the defense, it's a lack of talent. It's good coaching, a lot of good young guys. There's just a lack of talent in the front seven. There's nothing more we can say. We clearly saw that. But yeah, the reason I saved the O line was because there were times, like I was just talking about, when it was just straight up four freshmen and there was TFLs, and it's just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, we this is a D line where we are like certain they're going to add someone, and we are just begging the coaches to add some players. And the O line didn't dominate. They didn't even look good. Forget dominate. And it is, my God, is it concerning for me. So yeah, what do you think about the O line?
Yeah. Well, look, this is what I'll say. There are a couple plays that can inspire hope. Running downhill, that's something I want to. They were going downhill way more
Yeah,
with the running game, which is a big plus. And again, it's really tough to determine what the actual gains were because they weren't tackling. But there are multiple plays on more than just a few drives where they got legitimate push up the middle and they got to the second level and Woody Marks theoretically could have popped for 20 yards. What I'll say to that, and I'll talk about the D line in response and like referencing the offensive line. Bear didn't play, and that's the biggest omission. Because one, right now the kind of consensus, the idea, the feeling among SC fans is that the D line and O line essentially played to a stalemate. So if you are a sunshine pumper, as they call them on the boards, you could say, "Oh, actually, our O line and our D line are better than we thought, and they're evenly matched. So they're kind of going back and forth. You win some, you lose some." And if you're a doomer, you could say they're both bad, and it's very clear that neither of them have the talent. So sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. I'm more towards the latter. I don't think they're both bad, but I definitely don't think they're both like good enough to, you know, warrant some kind of crazy inspirational hope or whatever. Anyway, I bring up Bear specifically because I was talking about how EMA was getting washed away on blocks and like he has like getting stood up and stuff, and Mason Cobb was running around. With Bear, if you have to double team or you have to down block like, and you can't just like go one on one and then sprint to the second level, you don't even have to chip because you're not really. Kobe Pepe wasn't doing anything in there. If Bear is occupying somebody, multiple players, that actually allows linebackers to be more aggressive upfield on run plays, and they don't have to like worry about a lineman immediately coming to you. So to answer that in terms of the offensive line, if Bear was there, I don't think it would be a the offensive line. They're trying hard. Like I think it would have looked bad. They already didn't look great and they were bailed up by a legitimately good defensive lineman. The only interior guy we have that is legitimately good not playing. And even then, they were kind of it was like a standstill. So yeah, the offensive line is. I'm just gonna say there. It's as big of a problem as we thought it was in the preview. To me, defensive line. I actually think we need pieces, but it's not as desperate to me. Just because at least some of them are like solid, and we do have legitimate edge talent. Like the tackles for loss when Cameron Fountain was in and it was kind of like second string versus second string type, they were not because it was an inside push. It was because Fountain recognized it was an inside run and washed down immediately. Like he is crazy athletic, but also he has legitimate football IQ and he can recognize plays and he was making tackles from behind, like Max Crosby style. And so like legitimately incredibly encouraged by him. But yeah, Bear not being there is saving a lot of feelings from being hurt. That's essentially what I'm saying. Yeah. So I don't know. I hate being
yeah,
too negative, but it's the reality for me.
yeah, yeah. I kind of compare the edge groups, the receivers, the young sophomores, and Cam Fallon's the
Yeah,
freshman.
I like
Really
that
excited
actually.
about them, but that's besides the point. I think it's funny that those people you're referring to, like, yeah, like, let me, like, it was a wash. Both of them are good. Those same fans that are saying both are good are absolutely on their knees begging for D line talent, which
Yeah,
I am too. So the area of need that you're saying is number one, we need them. The O line goes up against that group without our best guy and only good guy, and it's a wash. And you're gonna tell me that's a good thing? It's not even like being a glass half full. You're just kind of wrong. You're just kind of coping. It's just
yeah,
it's worrisome. And I don't know. I think it's like the D line. I agree with you. Like the D line, there's direction. They're well coached, and there's young talent. You just need 2 to 3 guys to be like a pretty good D line. It's there. The O line, the O line's got to be a coherent group and work together. And also, not just that, there's a lot of D lines entering the player. O line is it's scarce. You don't we don't know who's gonna enter, and there's a real chance that Mason Murphy's our starting right tackle. But the one positive, like you said, it kind of goes on this team. I like the coaching, and I don't like the talent. I really did love the run scheme, and I've already talked about Woody. I'm so high on Woody, but it's just even more frustrating because if I felt good about the D line, so excuse me, the O line, I would feel so good about the offense because I trust the running backs a lot, specifically Woody.
Yeah.
And if we had better talent on the O line, I think this would be a run driven team with explosive receivers, and that would just help out Miller Moss so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so yeah, there's good, there's bad. A lot of the good was the young guys, and we've talked a lot about we need guys. So I will wrap this up. I think on offense, where we previewed every single position group, and we're going to revisit those post spring games, seeing the talent on the field,
Yeah.
and after the transfer portal ends to re-review this official roster going in the season. So seeing the spring game, seeing how everything played out offensively, where do we need transfers? What's your priority for what we need?
Well, in terms of stuff that I think will be positions that I think you can guarantee there is going to be at least somewhat of impact, I'm going to say receiver still. I don't think none of the receivers showed me something bad. In fact, I kind of liked what it was. But I mean, just get another good player. In fact, SC is bringing in the number one receiver in the portal, the guy from Penn State. I know nothing
Yep.
about him, so I don't want to say he's good or bad. But at least in terms of that evaluation, like someone like that could be a genuine high impact type guy. It just takes away the burden of like needing your 5 sophomores to perform. And actually, he's pretty young too, so maybe it doesn't. But you
Mhm.
need to like bring talent into the room. Stop pretending like you don't. Like every single time a receiver comes up in a USC forums, like, oh, another receiver, and it's like, yes, shut up and take it. We need receivers here. We can't talk about being a wide receiver and then having 5 sophomores and no experience. Like let's get together. And obviously O line, but I mean are not don't need to emphasize that enough. O line. What about you?
Yeah, like you said, O line, specifically right tackle,
Yeah.
another guard, I really just the O line. Yeah, we got to bring in receiver. He would be big. He's a good player.
Hmm.
He's not like an Addison number one type, but he would really help out the offense
Yeah.
because it's just about experience. You just like it's 4 sophomores. Our 4 best receivers are sophomores, and like there's not a doubt in my mind it's the best receiving core in the country next year. But it's like when you see them go deep in this rotation, I was kind of impressed with Richardson just to do to block and be a just contribute and be a pretty good receiver,
Yeah,
kind
it's
of like
fine.
how Hudson's been over the years. But it's like you can't really go deep in the room right now, and Lincoln loves to do that. So yeah, get another guy that can help out. Jordan, oh my God, Jordan looked really explosive.
Yeah, I like what I
Obviously,
saw from him.
he's a little smaller right now because he's a freshman, of course. But my God, he looked great. He showed a lot of potential. But he's the sixth guy right or sixth, seventh guy right now. You need another receiver for sure. Just need experience. Guy who's gonna block.
Yeah.
Running back, I think we're good. Woody, love Woody. Obviously, quarterback, we're not getting one. So yeah, receivers and online this thing.
Yeah.
As for defense, where would you go? Where do you think we need help? We got a cornerback like we mentioned earlier in the video, Greedy out of Florida State, first transfer of this cycle. Where do you think we need to go?
I was thinking cornerback before the game, honestly, and still, if Cormani McLean is gonna transfer here, I would still take him.
Yep.
But other than that, I'm actually fine with the outside corners we have now. Marcellus Williams will be in the 2 deep. He will be getting legitimate snaps. I'm very high on him. We didn't see Humphrey. Nicholson, I think, is solid. He has good size. He has a good frame. Prophet Brown and Jacoby Covington, honestly, continuing. I I'm super solid on the DBs. I thought maybe we wanted a body, and again, McLean has such a high ceiling that if you can get him to buy in, it could change things. But I'm good on cornerbacks. You know how I feel about linebackers. If you could process all of them out now and bring in 6 new ones, I would do it. But I don't know. Look for some talent there. D line is obvious. I need interior guys. And contrary, I kind of feel the same way about the edge room as I do about receivers, honestly. And USC fans do the same way as well because they're thinking about bringing in that guy from Pitt. They're going to bring him in on an official visit, like an edge rusher that's been pretty productive in his career. And so many people were so upset because they're bringing in edge rusher and oh, we have so many good edge rushers. We need nose tackles. And it's like, yeah, we do, dickhead, but we still need guys to produce. We can't. I was like, I haven't looked at the edge room or even defensive end room, even though edge specific is what I forgot his name. The Pittsburgh guy would have played. Anthony Lucas, people are behind him. He could be good, not sold at all, and he's more of a D end. Jamal Muhammad is kind of a Max Williams situation where I believe in him to be a good football player. I don't know physically where he plays because he's not a linebacker. He's not really a drop in coverage guy, and he's barely a pass rush guy against any good team. Shelby will be incredible, but he's young. DJ PV didn't flash, but he's very young, or they're the same age, but he's more of a project. Lorenzo Cowan, honestly, don't even remember that dude. I think he was one of the late additions. He's not going to play as a freshman. Pomeranz walk on. Sam Green may have had his career ruined by Alex Grinch. He's 6'1 with sawed off arms, and they asked him to lose weight to play edge. He needed to be like 275, 280. I think he came in at like 255, 260. He's not an edge rusher. He is 6'1. Put your hand in the ground and play D tackle or even defensive end. Stop standing up. Cam Fountain, we talked about it. He will be great. Brilliant Shelby and Cam Fountain, I think next year will be, as a tandem, will be psychotically good. But that's it. We have 2 young guys and 2 guys that don't have never produced. One guy's produced, Jamal Muhammad, but he is the worst body type possible for the position. Anthony Lucas, perfect body type, never produced. Braylon Shelby has produced a little bit. He's young. I'm expecting a lot, but he's young. Cameron Fountain, incredibly young, but kind of a perfect specimen. Everyone else is not fit for it. We need edge production. Get another edge rusher if there's a good one available. If there's someone that has more than 10 sacks in their career and it's not because they played 500 games, bring them in. We need pressure on the quarterback, especially if there's not going to be anything inside. So, yeah, want to do another one of my usual rants about how SC fans are a little misguided, in my opinion. Bring in talent when talent's available. Who cares what other player positions you need? Obviously, you're still going to need them regardless. So just bring in someone that's good. All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's the Pitt Edge actually committed to
Colorado,
Colorado
yeah.
today. Yeah. It's like a guy like that. I agree. You need it's I like the comparison to the receivers in terms of like talented, but you need experience. You know, Green, Shelby and Green, I really do feel good about. But we're starting with LSU, and we got Michigan a couple weeks later, so we need experience,
Yeah.
and we're not very experienced. Uh, D line, we don't even have experience. We just don't have a nose. We need a nose tackle really badly. A lot have come in the portal. A lot are probably getting paid, and maybe we gave Bear extra money. We as fans do not know, and we can't label guys as chasing bags because if they are, why the hell wouldn't they? They've
Yeah.
worked their whole life. They deserve to be paid. So it's like, do whatever you got. I don't know. We need a nose tackle bad, or else it's not gonna go well. We
Yeah.
we know what's behind them with the linebackers. It's like you got the young talent, you got the coaching, you got one guy in Bear. Just bring a few more in. Hope Shelby shows off his potential, becomes a dude. Muhammad's a nice depth piece. Clifton, I didn't really see a lot of in the game. Lucas, same thing. It's just you need human beings that can play the position inside, and you need production on the outside.
Yeah.
So it's just we need guys overall. And like I said, we'll be revisiting. Hopefully, we'll have a lot more to talk about with the additions and stuff because
Yeah.
this portal is going to decide our season. As of right now, in terms of the trajectory of the program, feeling very good. talent on the field not feeling very good. Future, the young guys feeling very good, but we got to get some talent.
Yeah.
We need impact. We don't even need depth. We don't need bodies. We need impact
Yeah.
guys, or else the season's not gonna go very well. But yeah, nothing too shocking about the spring game overall. I think a lot of what we expected we saw. There were some highs and there were some lows. But yeah,
Yep. I 100% agree. Future's looking bright, but who gives a damn? Win now. Thanks for watching. Fight on.